So we've come to the fourth sorrowful mystery in our lessons in the life of Christ. The fourth sorrowful mystery being the carrying of the cross. Now, we should all know these, especially since during Lent particularly, we have a particular devotion to our Lord carrying his cross. But let's review a few things. First of all, timeline. Our Lord is nailed to the cross at noon on Good Friday. He is arrested after the Last Supper about midnight the previous night, so the midnight from Thursday to Friday. He has been in an agony of bloody sweat. He has just finished the Last Supper. He is arrested. He is maltreated. He is scourged, and he is crowned with thorns. He has not eaten nor had anything to drink, most likely. He has lost a lot of blood from the scourging. He is in a lot of pain from both emotional and physical pain. And then they put a tree on him to carry up a hill. Now, most of us, with few exceptions, who I will not jokingly point out in the middle of the sermon, are not capable of simply carrying a small tree up a hill on a good day. Even though Jesus is a full-grown man in the prime of life, he has been through all of this and is in extreme agony. Our images of the stations do not do justice to how horrific his condition was. So he is weak, and he is now carrying this very heavy cross up to Golgotha. So that's what is happening in this mystery. Remember, as he is carrying this cross, that he is still God and is still thinking of all of the people that he is dying for, and how many of us are going to be ungrateful in our rejection of this through our sin. Now, what does this have to do with us? What is our lesson from this mystery in particular? Well, there's two things I want to consider. The first is the carrying of the cross. Our Lord says in the gospel very clearly, take up your cross and follow me. In fact, he says, you cannot be my disciple if you do not take up your cross and follow me. So any Christian who tries to say that you do not have a part in the cross if you are a disciple of Christ is not a Christian, because our Lord makes it explicitly clear it is a condition of discipleship that we carry our cross. What does that mean? It means that everything in our life that is difficult, and there's a lot of difficulties in life, is something that we must embrace and willingly embrace and follow after him. Whether it's things that happen to us that we don't have control over, and there's plenty of that, whether it's as dramatic as some kind of emotional or physical abuse to people driving slow in the left lane. Whatever it is, those things happen to us constantly, and we need to bear those crosses. And of course, we also deliberately embrace sacrifices that we do, especially during times like Lent and on Fridays, in order to be more united with Christ crucified and carry our cross. When we are carrying this cross, it is like the mystery, the fifth mystery, or station, of Simon of Cyrene, who is helping Jesus carry the cross. But like I like to say, Jesus is not our Simon. Jesus is not helping us carry our cross. There's really only one cross. It's the cross of Christ. And we have a share in that as Christians. And we help him carry that one cross. So we are, in a sense, Simon of Cyrene in our own way to Jesus. And the more we embrace our crosses, the more that we help him carry his. Because remember, like in all of this, as God, he, during that mystery of his life, that event in his life, is able to see us now. And so every time you give something up, every time you make a sacrifice of the will or of the body, then he sees you doing that, and that gives him consolation, makes his carrying of the cross easier. Carrying the cross is not easy, otherwise it would not be a cross. And for many people, they have to carry their cross for a long time. Part of the reason why it's difficult is we don't embrace the cross. I don't know if this is actually how it played out, but in the movie The Passion of the Christ, based off of Private Revelation, one of the thieves mocks Jesus for embracing the cross when he is given the cross to carry. We have to embrace the cross. Otherwise, it makes it more difficult, because you can't run from the cross. There will always be pain and suffering in this life, and you have two choices. You can either try and run from it and drive yourself mad, as in crazy, or you can embrace the cross with Christ, and that actually makes the cross easier. This cross has to be carried until death. But the more you embrace it, the easier it becomes. You have to have patience with your cross, though. You have to have patience. In fact, I believe that one of the reasons that our Lord allows as much suffering sometimes as he does is merely so that we learn patience. That we learn to bear with things. That we learn to bear them with him. As I like to say, because this is really important, like everybody, have my own issues that I've had to deal with in my life. Some of them have been very serious emotional things that I've had to deal with. The Lord took 45 years before he started to make dramatic improvements in those. And I'm not saying I'm a saint, because I complained the whole way, so don't get me wrong. I'm not a good example of what I'm preaching. I'm just telling you the right thing. I'm not always a good example. But I'm grateful that I didn't completely give up, because when I was finally ready and I actually cooperated, he was there with his plan. So we have to be patient and persevere with his grace. It's not easy. It's not going to always happen when we want, but we have to persevere. And when we do, we will see the glorification of the resurrection. But we have to get there first by way of the